Well, again, to, I guess, the latest of our Tech Spotlight sessions. Just a quick introduction to those on the call and those that are presenting. I'm Mike. I head up client services at Foundation IT. I've got a colleague of mine, Toby, who heads up our consulting practice to field questions of a technical nature should they crop up.
Morning, everybody.
Thanks, Toby. Should be able to put some questions into the chat function as we go through. Toby will try and get around those either verbally or on the chat function as we go through. If we don't have time to go through everything, we'll take some questions offline for you. We've been working with clients on core initiatives for the best part of 20 years, and with the agents of hyperconvergence, people trying to plug cloud in, public cloud, hybrid cloud. It's both a waiting time, but also a computer one, and trying to assess what makes sense moving forward is challenging. And really pleased to have Connor and Luke from Nutanix joining us this morning. Morning, guys. Going to go through the bulk of this and provide a sort of vendor perspective on where infrastructure has been, where it is today, their views on where it's going, and talk through, I guess, the high-level benefits of converged systems, what it means to businesses, try and run through a few use cases, and try and field as many questions as we can. So to go through, I'll hand across to you if that's okay. Feel free to put else on mute in the time being, and thanks again for your input this morning. Connor, Luke, you.
Thanks for the introduction. Good morning to the call. Connor McKevna, one of the current managers here at Nutanix. Thanks for the time to join with us on the technology, on what the organization's going and how we're helping customers' environments. Just a quick overview, Nutanix, we're definitely changing the approach to data center infrastructure and totally redesigning the platform to the environment more simple, more powerful, more efficient, more protective. And actually doing that on what our customers actually telling us out in the field by the cloud. The cloud definitely and truly underway. At rapid time to market, so the ability to deploy applications in a number of minutes, be able to spam, to add new application workloads to your environment on the fly. But they're also looking at a fractional IT consumption model. So, you list of AWS, I know you have to give them your credit card, but essentially, you can credit card and start, pay as you go, pay as you grow economics in your environment, pay for what you need and consume as you grow. The ability to do this is one simplicity. Click on spend a load of time on looking at different management interfaces, different GUIs. You just want to have it done in your environment. But at the same time, others and companies are looking at continuous innovation. So they're always adding new software, new features within their environment. This is one to bring into the cloud environment, into their enterprise data center. And that is of looking at fractional consumption, but also at the same time looking at instant delivery within your environment. And business, you don't want to be in IT as within your business, and you're also looking at continuous innovation. And that's all the benefits of the public cloud offerings, the likes of AWS, Microsoft Azure, but if you don't have the control and flexibility in your environment. And with the Nutanix platform, we can bring the public features with your own private data center where you have the ability to own your environment, data access and governance, and you can tailor every SLA for every application within your environment. And with the solution as well, we're going to give you some freedom from lock-in. So we have the ability to run across multiple hypervisors, VR, Hyper-V, and also our own hypervisor if that's something that you choose to do as well, which is AHV. I'll go into a bit more detail on that in the presentation. that we ran in the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if a lot of people on the call actually look at the Wall Street Journal, but this is to give you an idea of where Nutanix has come and where the IT industry has actually went. Look back in the 1990s, this was an application attached server to some direct attached storage. It was simple, it was effective, it worked in your environment, but then as new applications came on board and centers got more complex, you had to add every app you had in your environment, you had to add an additional service and an additional direct attached storage. To their credit, they came along with a great functionality and motion that gave you the ability to move resources and allocate them from different server workloads in your environment and different applications. Now, once that came along with the three-tier architecture, we'll go into that in detail. Most of the customers on the call today probably have the three-tier architecture environment. And that's to manage, we've got, applications, the mobile applications that are coming into your environment on a day-to-day basis, and it's really scaling out the data center and becoming complex to manage. That's why this started to look at public cloud offering. It was simple to consume, instant, all the benefits that we've talked about previously. I'm not feel like Nutanix because essentially Nutanix, we give you the best of VMware capabilities, and we have our own hypervisor as well, but we also give you the self-service portal to scale to market very, very rapidly and very, very quickly. How we've actually got here, and we've already touched upon it, but servers ran with one application with direct attached storage, but then it got, able to scale with more applications, large and chunky, and data centers, rapidly were scaling out. Then data center, which essentially you have in your environment today, but where it came along with FreeMotion and on another high availability solutions where you can actually allocate resources between different servers and different workloads in your environment. Instead of a lot of cost savings, but looking at the next generation of where we're going in terms of the IT industry and your business, where large scale out environments and different of data to manage and very, very complex. So some of the people on the call, you might have come across this already, but it's really the way that the three-tier architecture is actually laid out. And it doesn't really matter how much compute power you throw at it. And when you look at the connectivity at the storage level, you've only got two storage controllers. And as much CPU, you can put more additional flash sticks below the actual storage controllers. But it's going to be a bottleneck. And the more pressure that you apply to that, it doesn't really matter. There's going to be a bottleneck in the storage controller, and it's going to slow down traffic within your environment. It's going to give pure performance for end users. And, if you've got online e-commerce solutions or VDI applications, it's going to be customer facing and have an effect on your business. Complex buying cycles as well. So you're going to try to provision for the next 3 to 5 years as well. I'm actually from EMC and seeing customers that, can ask for a storage environment and maybe they've looked at maybe 30 to 50 terabytes up front. And then they've come back, with a new quote and said, well, actually, can we have 100 terabytes? I'm scared of running out of storage in the next 3 to 5 years. Complex cycles, you're over-provisioning, you're spending extra money that they might need on, the next 5 years. They only use 40% of the actual provisioning that they put in their environment. You're looking at complexity, your different silos within your business, a number of different user interfaces, a number of different management GUIs. And so if the unit does actually, from a storage perspective, if do commit to scaling to 150 disks, say, in an EMC storage unit, you have to lift upgrade. You can't physically scale that unit anymore. Issues with that, issues within your DC where you need enough space in your data center as your business starts to grow.
As well, from a storage performance point of view, these kind of modern times of SSD-based storage where latency is going to be measured in microseconds, it's pretty crazy, really, to hang that fast performance storage off a generalized SCSI network where you're introducing latency, which obviously Nutanix deals with.
Yes, and that's to the point where, you know, looking at the bottleneck within the storage controllers, we'll get that in more detail, but you know, with Nutanix from a latency perspective, we do really cool things for software where in terms of the VM application or controller VM, we ensure that we have SSDs that are going to be closest to that VM or application to ensure performance on, you know, really good latency within your environment. You don't need to be looking at these, you know, all or, you know, SSD performance-based workloads, because essentially, again, like I said, it's going to be the controller where there's going to be the bottlenecks in the environment.
Yeah.
And how we're actually replatforming the enterprise data center. As I've touched upon already, left-hand side of the PowerPoint, this is what, you know, most customer environments are currently like, and you know, we're seeing this, and this is something that Nutanix is changing, and Luke will go into detail in the number of customers that we have across a number of different verticals later. Actually, in Nutanix, we can scale your storage controller on your area network into a 2RU appliance, and consolidating into and by default, your compute and your storage integrated. And this can go up to 4 node and a 2RU, and this is configured to order based on your application workloads. So, you know, it depends on how much SSD on your application workloads that you need, and then we also have hard disks as well. And we'll go into more detail on the actual technical aspects of that as well. Now, this is a pay-as-you-grow economics because, like I said, you can start off with a 3-node or a 4-node and a 2RU factor. If you're looking to scale, you can add 1 node at a time. We're not saying that you have to buy, you know, 3 nodes up front. If you go for a 4-node configuration and the 2RU, and 1 node at a time. And this can be a compute-intensive node, or it can be a storage-intensive node based on how you scale and as you grow. As well, we integrate with VMware and Hyper-V, but bringing in our own built-in AHV as well, which is our virtualization there and the hypervisor within your environment as well. So consolidating on another piece of the traditional 3-tier architecture in your environment as well, where we collapse our hypervisor within the solution as well. So what you know, complex, and we have X80 servers, and it's really with configuration to start off with. It's software that's deriving all the goodness within our environment, and this is the controller VM. It sits on every node, and this is for a number of reasons. The controller VM, it means that there's going to be redundancy built within your solution. So, you know, if node 1 was to fail, essentially, the controller VM is going to be in node 2 and node 3 as well. So it knows to replicate the data. It knows, you know, move the application workloads of the SSD into the secondary node. And with the VM as well, on the direct attached storage that we have with a mixture of flash and HDD, we've the distributed storage fabric. And this is all the benefits of a normal SAM within your environment. And you can create, you know, snapshots, you can create clones, compression, duplication, all the features that you love with having, you know, storage area network in your environment. We also do smart things around erasure coding as well, and you can, you know, make sure that we're using the data on the storage that we provide within your environment effectively and efficiently. We can also chain of your data as well based on how you want to tier the VM back to your application workload. And that is something that, you know, is really impressive in the Nutanix solution, where the controller VM into the, you know, the VM is maybe more high IOP intensive and doing more RAID workloads. It's going to stick very, very close to the flash drives, so you're going to get that predictable performance. Also move the cold data that's not being used as much down to the HDD. Our applicability fabric, and it's something that we've progressed and spent a lot of R&D on. And this gives you the ability to back up to the public cloud. So, your public cloud infrastructure, we've all the APIs integrated that if you want to take a workload at a certain time, you can back it up to, AWS, Microsoft Azure. To give you an example, one of our customers in Fitness First, I'm not sure if all are a member of Fitness First, but around Christmas time, we all after Christmas we all decide that we want to get back to the gym. And they have a massive trough and peak in their workloads. And essentially what they do is then they start migrating that data off to this. They've got Nutanix within their production environment. They back that off and they take the workload off their environment as well. And that's something that we're really proud of, that we have all the APIs integrated and built with AWS and Microsoft Azure. Also provide, one-click hyper conversion, and so the ability to have VMware essentially in your production environment, but maybe for your DR environment, you're looking at, cost savings and license savings. You can run a hypervisor that's built in with Solution and cross-hyper backup as well, and that again comes down to savings within your environment. So this, a lot of people on the call see on a daily basis, a number of different management interfaces within your environment. You might log into, the fiber channel switches to do some network configuration, and you log into the store configurator as well, and to, create some RAID groups within your environment. And with the Nutanix solution, we collapse that into a single pane of glass, a single. This is H5 and YouTube videos of other clusters, and marketing, but where they have the iPod sitting up against the kettle, and they have the ability just to spin up VMs on the fly and status of the environment. And we're really, really proud of, and this is the goodness of the Nutanix solution, where it's going to be ease of use, ease of management, one simplicity, and for your environment, where your business can spend time looking at other areas for innovation as well. A feature runway. Runway gives you the ability to look at when you're planning, capacity planning, when is my actual storage going to run out of space. And this is great for businesses that are looking to forecast accurately. Okay, I've got 90 days till my storage runs out. Or it gives you an insight to say, well, I've got 90 days in my storage left out. What VMs are cold in my environment? What VMs are we not actually accessing anymore that we may need? And this from a compute perspective as well. So it's really great, and something that we're going to keep on spending R&D and make this more beneficial for our customers. So on this already, how Nutanix solves the 3-tier. We've invented the VM controller, so it's placed in every single node, so eliminating any bottlenecks compared to the 3-tier where you only have 2 controllers within your whole environment. And we have a Acropolis-free hypervisor built into the solution as well if you actually choose to use that. So, you can look at actually removing, the cost of, VMware license. So it's going to be in your environment. There's no more complexity, and there's no more multiple user interfaces. We have a Prism, which is one pane of glass to manage your whole environment. There's no more one throat to choke. And you scaling out your environment. So pay as you grow economics. On node when you're looking to grow, not to click things up and running on the scale. On over to Luke to talk the benefits of Nutanix.
Thank you, Matt. So slide you see Nutanix has come from product launch in 2011 all the way to 2016. See new generations of the product over that time. But essentially, we're a software company. So even if you're running our box, which we released in 2011, up into 2016, we have a current customer in production who is running the latest of Nutanix, which is first edition. Now, one key one to point out here, in 4.5, we introduced erasure coding into our software appliance, and that gave 25 to 30% of storage capacity back to the end user. Now, when's the last time you heard of a storage company giving their customer more storage? Now, obviously, in Nutanix, we understand that we can do this journey on our own. So we have a broad ecosystem of partners and work with Dell and Lenovo, who are underlying hardware suppliers. And we also have our own appliance, the Next series, which is based on Sun Micro. We have a host of guest operating systems. The one to really focus on here is the Windows Server. Microsoft has certified us to run all their applications on, so we're talking SQL, we're talking Exchange, we're talking SharePoint, so all the ones that 75% of enterprise companies, SMB organizations use today in their data center. Up there in the application technology layer, Citrix, the top supplier to VDI in the industry, have come out and said and certified Nutanix as their preferred vendor to work with their application on our platform. What does it mean? So now, and 15 of our customers. This was in the UK and the USA, and based over multiple different uses of Nutanix, the performance, the ROI, the uptime, downtime, and then they came back after a 30-day analysis. We had 5% faster deployment of storage, 1% less time to manage the actual environment, and 98% fewer occurrences unplanned downtime. Over a 5-year period, that's 510% ROI. Now, these look like phenomenal numbers that we just picked out the sky, but this is IDC, going independent assessor to our customers. Now, I'll report with you as well if you wish to do so. Just leave your email in the chat box. I can share that with you. So, back when this came out, we were kind of a known one-trick pony, that we were focusing on VDI and 75% of our business way back when the first box was released. It was doing VDI. But in the market, 35% of our box is running VDI for those main workloads, and we've moved on to a lot more. So you see across, we've got branch office offerings. We've just released a new SMB offering, Nutanix Express, for those types of branch offices, operation and unified comms. So we got Cisco, Microsoft Link, Avaya. We can actually come ready out the box of Avaya already pre-installed. Data is quite out there, because big data is traditionally run on MS or on tin. You see, we got virtualized applications like Hadoop, DB, and Splunk, who are actually also a customer of Nutanix, running their big data environments all on a virtualized platform on a software-defined appliance, and move away from that bare metal. So Nutanix, we're quite renowned for our global support offerings. As you can see in the bottom right corner of the slide I put up, we've got a net promoter score plus 20. I don't know if anyone's aware of what a net promoter score is, but after you solve an issue, you traditionally a yes, no, was this helpful sort of scenario, tick boxes we found with our customers. And just to give you sort of an idea, this to the industry standards that in what market, they normally sit around the 20 to 40 mark, and having plus 90, and this starts at minus 100 as well. A few familiar names. Quadrant. This slide, as you can see, we're right on the right-hand side. Gartner's to report. You're looking at any sort of new technology to bring into your environment, the assurance that we all need. This is a validated solution, and we're here to stay. And Nutanix were last year in the bottom right corner, just on the line, just above where solidity is, but now we move right up out there into the right-hand corner. And this is just for integrated systems. We argue that HP, NetApp, and Oracle, they're the hyper-converged solutions. So this year, they're going to do a sole standalone one just for hyper-converged solutions. And lots of those dots here, and it would just be a more focused one on true hyper-converged solutions rather than an integrated stack. We cover all in aspects, and that really shows providence through broad customer adoption. From over in the corner there, you've got customers in the financial industry such as MasterCard, PayPal, PwC, who arguably they're very organizations within financial services and using very different applications to provide a service to their customers. Down to manufacturing in the corner there, like Subaru, Hyundai, Saab, Ferrari, all using high-end CAD applications with NVIDIA cards to do the high compute performance stuff to design cards. Contact information, is there any follow-up questions you guys have for us? If you want to kind of cover in a bit more detail, we're happy to go through that. Open to questions in the chat box if you want to drop anything in there. But I'll pass it to Mike.
Well, Luke, really appreciate you wanting to go through that. That was good. If there are questions, feel free to pose those in the chat box, or indeed use the contact details on the screen to